Okay, I made some mistakes, but that's okay. I will learn from them. Okay, if you if you're joining me to practice with me, I welcome you. I welcome you. Um, I, I am going to uh, respond respond to a question submitted to me in my inbox. Someone asked me, how do you improvise? Well, how do I improvise? It depends on the musical situations. It depends on the musical circumstances. I I usually consider um, types of improvisations like chordal improvisation. That means you play the chords. Let's say someone in your church, someone at a party just stands up and wants to sing, and then they need well, you're there as a musician, so you're going to accompany that person. So you need to you're going to improvise because you did not rehearse with that person, so you got to improvise the chords. More than likely, you're going to play chords. So in that case, yeah, it's always good to know the three primary chords in a major key. For example, uh, like a uh, like a C major scale. For example, you need to know the three primary chords in that scale because you're going to need those chords to even start improvising anyone. I mean, um, improvising chords to accompany anyone. So in C major scale, you must know uh, C major chord, the F major chord, the subdominant, and the G major chord, the dominant chord. So the three primary chords, the the tonic, the subdominant, and the dominant. Then, as you play along, play, uh, you might use substitutions of chord in the C major, because in the C major scale, because you have seven chords that you can you can you can use available to you to play to use. So you can, depending on the song, you might be able to substitute, you know, the chords, and then make the song sound even better. That's a chordal improvisation. I also consider the melodic improvisation. That means that you're going to play single notes. You're going to improvise playing single notes. So let's say a keyboard player is playing some nice chords, and then you're there, and you want to solo over progression whatever progression that the keyboard player is using. So you need to get yourself together, and find out what, first of all, what key the keyboard player is using, and then the structure of the progression. Is it a 6 2, is it a 2 5 1, or a 6 2 5 1? So you need to determine that, and then from there you're going to at least have an idea how you're going to approach this melodic improvisation. Also, there's another improvisation type that I call ad lib improvisation. This is when, for example, usually in the big band, jazz big band, they use musical charts. So every musician has a chart, and then playing his or her part. So usually the conductors, the band leaders, they are very, very strict with regard to playing the chart as written, as written, as it is. So, but sometimes there might be a part in the chart, a small section in the musical chart that you are allowed to improvise. You can play, maybe it could be very short time, maybe 4 bars or 8 bars. They allow you to improvise. You can you can make up your own lines to, and then after that, after you're done, you come back to the normal interpretation of the musical chart, because you got when you have your chart in front of you, you got your part. If every musician is playing their parts, so you got yours, but you know when you know when, if you're following the chart, you will know when to start your ad lib, and the other musician, they're gonna kind of, just mellow down a little bit, so your soloing can cut through. So that's ad lib. And there's another improvisation type that I call on the spot improvisation. This is the one I like the most, because it gives me the freedom to really create on the spot, to do whatever I want. There's no conductors telling me, hey man, you should, this is what you should use, blah blah, stuff like that. So on the spot improvisation that you're gonna create right here, you're going to, so in that case, there's a few things that you need to be aware of, in order to be able to do that. First of all, you need to know, well, for any improvisation, especially melodic improvisation, um, we need to know our scales, especially the major scale, the major scales. Like we know the C major scale, then we can play that, and then we can just transpose to other scale, to the other scales, so we can be familiar with how they are laid out in different scales. And but we know, if we play when we play the C major scale, for example, we know, it's it's we know there are other scales that can come from that C major scale, and those scales, they are called modes. Modes. So there's a name for each mode on the major scale. For example, on the C major scale, the first note, the C note, that's the tonic, that's the root of the scale. So the first mode is always the Ionian mode. That's the C major scale, all from the C to C. That's the Ionian mode. Then you on the next note, the D. On the D, that's the Dorian mode. On the E, the third note, that's the Phrygian mode. On the fourth, that's the Lydian mode. On the fifth, that's the Mixolydian mode. On the sixth note, that's the Aeolian mode, and on the seventh note, that's the Locrian mode. Okay, what is mode? What is a mode? A mode is basically a scale, but in music, the terminology is mode, but it is actually scales within a scale. I mean, you got all the other scales you can play from the inside of the major scale. For example, the C major scale, those are called the modes of the C major scales. The mode, very simply, very, okay. Let me simply say that a mode is the displacement of a note within the scale. What I what I meant by that, what I mean by that is to play when you start a scale from a different note in the major scale, and you play that scale all the way to the octave. This is called a mode. An example: the just like I said earlier, you play the C major scale all the way to C octave. That's the Ionian mode. Ionian mode. Then, if I start a scale from the D and play that scale using the same notes in the major scale, I, I'm using C major scale as an example. Let's say I play D. I play D. I start the scale. Forget the C. I start the scale on D instead of C, and I play a D scale all the way to D octave. That's the second note of the major scale. So this is called the Dorian mode of the C major scale, and the Dorian mode is a minor scale. Now, if you move up to the E, the third note of the C major scale, you can play another scale. You play another scale from E to E octave. That's another scale within the C major scale. So this third scale within the major scale is called the Phrygian mode, and so on. If you play the fourth note, which is F, all the way to F octave, that will be the Lydian mode. If you play G in the key of C, all the way to G octave, that will be the Mixolydian mode. If you play A to A octave, that will be the Aeolian mode. And if you play B to B octave, that will be the Locrian mode. Okay, C major scale. The first mode, the C major scale, C major, Ionian mode. The second, D, that's a D Dorian mode. That's a minor scale, a minor mode. The third, E, that's the Phrygian mode. That's a minor scale, minor mode. Then you got the F. That's from F you play the scale. That's a Lydian mode. That's a major scale. Usually when we improvise using the Lydian mode, we usually use the sharp 11 sometime, to improvise as a maybe usually as a passing tone. Sharp 11 or sharp 4, sharp 11 is this. That's this. It's the same. So okay, F Lydian mode, G the fifth note. That's a Mixolydian mode, dominant 7, G dominant 7, and A will be the Aeolian mode. That's a minor mode. It's a minor mode, and then you got B Locrian mode. That's I would say minor. It's a minor 7 flat 5. Yeah, it's minor 7 flat 5 mode. you can also get a diminished chord out of that. If you lower the flat seven and you get it, and then like a double flat, stuff like that. Okay, so you know, to be able to improvise, we need to know we have all those modes available to us in a major scale, but in this case in a C major scale. Okay, so so if let's say I have a simple progression in the key of C major, 251. 251, that means D minor seventh, G dominant seventh, and then C major seven. Okay, let's say some keyboard player is playing that, or maybe your friend is playing that progression on a guitar. So now you want to play the solo. So how you gonna approach that? So what I usually do, I remember I think at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I am um, responding to a question that someone asked me. How do I improvise? So what I usually do is, if I see a progression like that, D minor seven, okay, that's a minor chord. Then I got a C, I got a G seven, G dominant seven. Okay, that's a dominant chord, and it's going to resolve on it's going to resolve on one, which is C major seven. So the first thing I look at, the first thing I look at is where is the last chord that the progression is going to end on. So where the dominant seventh chord is going to resolve. And then I can say, okay, that chord is the pitch axis of this progression, which will in the case of D minor seven, G seven, and C major seven, that will be C major seven. So I'm calling C major seven the pitch axis of this progression, because in the C major seven chord, you can find all the notes included in D minor seventh and in G dominant seven. So all the notes that you have in the first chord D minor seven and the second chord G dominant seven, those notes in those two chords are also in the C major seven, in the C major scale. That's what I mean, in the C major scale. So I can see that. Because of that, I can go ahead and play the C Ionian mode throughout this 251 progression. I play the C Ionian mode. Or maybe I can say, okay, I'm not going to start playing that mode. I'm not going to start improvising using the Ionian mode. I'm going to start using the Dorian mode instead. Then I start the scale. If I can start my first line, my first phrase. I can start with the note D, because this is the mode. This is the root of the mode I'm going to use now, which is a minor scale. So and you can do it. You can use the E Phrygian mode and F Lydian modes and so on and so on. But you need to know those modes in the major scale. There are modes in other scale as well. The minor scales, they have modes also, but they have different names. That's a different ball game. Okay, so what else? Yeah. So those modes, you need to know those modes. So basically, that's okay. Like let's say you are. Let's take another pitch axis, because if you are improvising on a single, let's say you playing a song, and the song is only in the key of C major all the way to the end. In that case, you have your major scale. You can use the modes, you can use arpeggios, you can use the C major pentatonic scale. It's your choice. And from those scales, from the scale and the arpeggios and the C major pentatonic scale, you can build your phrases. But what if right in the middle of the song the song changes keys? Now you find yourself in the key of D. Oh, now okay, that's a different pitch axis now, because now if you when the song modulates like that, if you keep playing the notes from the C major scale you are playing, they're not going to fit in the new pitch axis. You got a new scale now. You have a D major scale. So it's going to be the chord is going to be D major 7 from the D major scale. So there's going to be, in this case, there's going to be a different. You're going to play 2-5-1. There's going to be a different 2, a different 5, and a different tonic, which is now it's a D major 7. So of course, this is where you need to transpose the C major scale to D major scale, and then you follow the same rules and procedures how to get your modes from the D major scale. So if I'm in D major scale now, so the Ionian mode will be D Ionian. Then you move to the next note. There is going to be, you're gonna okay, D. Your next note will be E. So that will be E Dorian mode. Remember, in the key of C, E was E Phrygian mode. The E starting the scale, the mode starting from E in the C major scale. That's your E Phrygian mode. but in the key of D major, E now is E Dorian mode. And of course you got your dominant 7 chord, which is E7, E dominant 7, and then you're gonna resolve to the pitch axis, which is the D major 7th chord. So basically, you have, when you are improvising, you got different different possibilities in front of you. You can use the modes within the scale. You can use uh, arpeggios over the chords. You can use um, pentatonic scales. It's up to you. It's up to you. It depends on the nature of the song, of the music, of the piece of music that is in front of you. So that's the way that I try to improvise. And usually when I improvise on the spot, um, I make some mistakes, but I don't stop. When you make mistake, you just keep going. Sometimes, what I discover sometimes is you play a bad note, and then the keyboard player plays such a full chord, and your bad note just blends with the keyboard, and nobody even takes notice of it. So you are improvising, especially on the spot. You don't even know what you're gonna play. You make mistakes. You make mistakes. Don't 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 stop. Keep going. Okay? That's what you do. Okay?